We could play a game where we have a zoomed in picture of all of our buttholes, and then our guest tries to pick whose it is.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Wait, no, that would be not fun because there's only two of you. So you're like, oh, our guests would have pick out pictures of our buttholes. So pretty much what you're saying is you just want a bunch of random people to see your guys' assholes, right? I mean, you could just do that. I don't understand.
Well,
like, you're like, no, just random people. We want to bring them.
Chris.
We want to bring them on here, and then force them to look at our buttholes.
Yeah, make it fun.
It's a game. Which one of these you think? Well, it's not going to be hard. It's like, well, that one looks like it's an albino's asshole, so that one's Kurt's.
See, that's where you're wrong now because it's going to be zoomed in.
Zoomed in.
So that's like almost literally indistinguishable.
Alright, we're live.
Here we go. What do you mean we're live?
It means we're on Facebook Live and we have 4,000 people looking right now.
Oh.
Promise them that they would get to see your butthole. See?
No.
That was a notification.
That was a notification.
The promise of butthole.
I'm not seeing my butthole.
He
He gets no butthole. He gets no butthole.
What?
Motherfucker, you ain't gonna be able to see my butthole anyways unless you get like a fucking hedge trimmer.
Well, that's
Like,
part of
seriously,
today's
like-
game.
Like seriously. Like
Trim that butthole.
like there's probably so much hair down there, like each one of my turds is a pathfinder. You know what I'm saying? Like
Alright.
anyone that makes it to the toilet is a fucking survivor. That is a fighter right there.
We could play a game where we have a zoomed in picture of all of our buttholes and then our guest tries to pick whose it is.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Wait, no, that
Or-
would be not fun because there's only two of you. So you're like, oh, our guests would have pick out pictures of our buttholes. So pretty much what you're saying is you just want a bunch of random people to see your guys' assholes, right? I mean, you could just do that. I don't understand.
Well,
Right?
there's
You're like,
also
no,
the
just random
aspect of
people. We want to
skill,
bring them.
Chris.
We want to bring them on here
Let's make
and
it
then
fun.
force them to look at our buttholes.
Yeah, we'll make it fun.
It's a game. Which one of these you think? Well, it's not going to be hard. It's like, well, that one looks like it's an albino's asshole, so that one's Kurt's.
See, that's where you're wrong, though, because it's going to be zoomed in.
And zoomed in.
So
It's
that
just
they're
like it's
almost
literally just.
indistinguishable. You know, I was also thinking of a good game show. You get like one of those weird Japanese game shows.
Yeah.
So you get a chick, right? And then you have like X amount of contestants, and they have to eat her out for like 1 minute apiece, and then she judges who did the best.
Yeah, no, the saddest part
And you
about
can
it is,
only
like,
see like this half of her up, so it can be on TV.
That might already be a game.
It
yeah,
might.
I was going to say, like, I'm not putting it past them, dude. Like, they have, like, no limits there.
Yeah.
Like, none.
There's
When
a
it
whole,
comes to their TV shows, they're like, oh, it's just for fun. You're
there's
just
a
like,
whole porn category of game show porn. Japanese game show porn.
no.
Well,
We're here again with Chris Knox.
the more you know, folks.
Welcome back for the third time, Knox.
Yeah.
It's time to play Forced to Orgasm!
Okay.
How do we do that?
Yeah, how does this work?
Do it.
Do it. You orgasm. You orgasm now. Do it. I just don't work like this under pressure.
Try harder. Our massive viewership has probably been wondering what we've been up to lately.
Yes. Clamoring for more great content.
Yes.
I doubt that they're clamoring for more great. I don't think I'm full of great content, man.
Yeah.
I actually think that, like,
That's what
most
Van
times
Gogh
when I
said,
get
and
on
then he
here, man, I
died.
just kind of ramble on for, like, ever, which is cool. Whatever. I could do that. But, like, I don't think that I'm full of content.
Yeah. So,
Ask me a question. I will give you an answer. It might not be the one you're looking for, but I will give you an answer.
All right. How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
1,246.
And is that DSL licks or is that like white chapped lips?
licks.
That's just licks in general. Like, licks in general. Like,
What?
get a fucking Tootsie Pop and then lick it and tell me if I'm wrong. Sit there and lick that bitch.
It was 12 how many?
1,246.
We'll have to confirm that was the same number you said first.
Yeah. We'll have to run it by the scientific community.
1,246.
So we're in COVID era, and like a month and a half ago ish, I think I caught COVID. Never got tested, but I had the symptoms.
Which ones were that? Because as far as I could tell, COVID has the symptoms of every other fucking cold or flu that's ever existed.
The only ones that were different than normal was like less smell and taste than normal. Like usually my smell and taste is deadened, but this time it was like can't taste shit, smell shit for weeks. And it's still not quite back, but it's like 95% maybe.
Gotcha.
And then the heat at my mom's house went out, so my sister and brother came to stay with me for a night. And I may or may not have given her the COVID. She also could have gotten it from anyone else, but...
Well, it's nice to know that in your family you guys learned how to share.
Yeah. It was like the... like how we wiped out the Native Americans where they gave them the disease blanket.
Oh,
yeah.
So you gave your sister the smallpox blanket?
Yeah, pretty much.
You're like, come stay in my COVID house.
I was trying to be nice, but, you know, she ended up probably getting it from me.
Yeah.
Was not happy about that. And so then they stayed here for a couple weeks, so my mom didn't get it. So there's been a decent amount of COVID going around.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing, okay?
Yeah, we're at like 12% positivity rate or something crazy shit.
Okay, so I'm just going to say this because I want everybody to understand this shit, that COVID is a coronavirus, right? And coronaviruses, they do mutate so that other people can catch them. But
which means
they actually lose as they're mutating, coronaviruses almost do the exact opposite of most virus. They become less potent. That's what happened with SARS, H1N1. You know what I mean? Those were all coronaviruses, dude. And like they just lost potency as they move from host to host to host to host. They lose their potency. They don't actually mutate to become worse. They mutate and like eventually are like harmless to the fucking human race. So, I mean, let's just look at the positivity rate. Okay, so when it first came in, we were getting all these positivity rates. People were fucking dying, and now people are getting it, and like 2 days later, they're fucking fine. So, I mean, I'm sorry, but like, dude, get the fuck over this shit.
The way they're doing the positivity rate in Illinois doesn't make any sense to me. So I think they're probably doing it throughout other states, maybe all states, but I know that Illinois is like, we're taking a percentage of the people who tested and actually tested positive, and that's how we're determining how bad this is.
Right.
Which doesn't make sense to me because, like, in my mind, you're not going to get tested unless you have symptoms.
Positivity rate is of all subjects tested.
Yeah, so it doesn't give you an idea of how many people have it necessarily. Well, it'll, you know,
yeah, but
as a percentage of the population, it just says how many people are positive after testing, which they suspected they had it to begin with, so that should be like roughly 100%.
Right. Well, literally, though, I mean, I sat here and I thought about this because I saw something about if like nobody got tested for like 6 weeks, and then one person got tested and they tested positive, then it'd be 100% positive rate. Right. And I saw that, and the only thing that came into my head is like, yeah, that works exactly that way, but you can't force people because then you're going past the point of choice and you're creating like a dictatorship if you're like, you have to go get this done. Like, I'm sorry, man, but like if you're not having symptoms or you have no health issues, like ain't nobody going to sign up to go get stabbed in the fucking brain. And that's a real thing. You can actually look that up. One lady did get stabbed and she lost brain fluid.
I don't know how true that is.
That's
true.
Very fucking true, dude.
Did you know her?
No, I had to look.
I heard she had it coming.
I looked into it just to see how, because like there's all kinds of fucking like slam ass spam fucking news reports up there that
fake news,
right? The fake news. That'll get anybody to fucking click on some shit because I mean it's all click fucking bait and shit. But if you actually look that up, like look it up. Dude, it'll come all the way back to like, I can't remember where it was, but like it was like a story in like the New York Times or some bullshit like that. Like it's like a real event that did happen. Do we know that it happened 100% from the COVID thing? No, but I mean, the simple fact that you could probably go that far with this weird Q-tip thingy that they're trying to stuff in your fucking nose scares the fuck out of me. But this is the thing is like, how in the fuck did they break that membrane and not notice it? Like they were like, oh yeah, when it came out, they noticed that her nose was running like excessively. It's like, well, then that would be a first sign that there's something fucking wrong, right? Now be like, oh, go home.
Just a little brain juice.
You're fine. Go home.
Yeah.
And then she was like, when I started getting sore, my muscles started tightening up. That's when they were like, oh, well, you're losing brain fluid. It's like, how many days? That's another thing I couldn't figure out is how many days that she was actually like losing brain fluid. Because now the real curiosity in me kicks on there, like, at what rate do you lose your brain fluid until eventually just stop functioning? You know what I mean? Like, how many days, if you were to get poked in the membrane through your nose, would it take for you to actually die from losing brain fluid? And another question I have is, can that brain fluid actually be replaced? Because I haven't found any kind of definite, like, is she just fucked for life now? She's like, I got a COVID test and now my name is Debbie. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, just fill it back up with a little beer or something, man.
How does that work?
It'll be fine.
That's all I'm saying. Like, there's just too many questions up for that. But I mean, how many people probably got tested and you got one incident?
Yeah.
Right.
I think at first they were doing the Q-tip swab themselves, which doesn't make sense because, like, everyone's got a different nose. You probably shouldn't just be doing that. Like,
right.
People should stop when they know it hurts.
Well,
and then when Kurt got tested, they had him do it himself.
Right.
Which makes way more sense in my opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, that also, okay, so it does make
Tested
sense.
negative,
it does
by the
make
way.
sense, right? But here's the only thing is that, like, this is the only thing I look at. Because when people were getting the test done by other people, they were saying that it was very uncomfortable. It was very, very fucking uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It felt like it was very invasive. Now they're allowing people to do that. But the problem is that you have a self-survival instinct that keeps you from being able to put yourself in, like, giant discomfort. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's the reason why they say only an insane person can bite through their fucking tongue, because your body won't let you do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the reason why a human being can't choke themselves. You pass out, and the first thing you do as soon as you pass out is breathe.
That's why it hurts so bad when you get kicked in the balls.
Right. But you know what I mean? Like, I can take my finger and I can put it in my mouth right now, but I'm probably not going to be able to bite it till it fucking bleeds, because, like, there's a self-preservation thing that kicks in, and it's an automated thing. Like, it just happens. It keeps you from doing harm to yourself on purpose. So if you hand somebody a Q-tip, right, and you say, hey, shove this in your nose until you're fucking uncomfortable, you can't even make sure that people are going to do that. Some people might be able to do it, but a lot of people probably aren't going to be able to do that, dude.
They supervise.
They didn't even have him put it in that deep.
Yeah.
It was
they just sit there and they supervise you, and they're like, you put it in your nose, and they're like, further.
Yeah, it was this cute
Further.
chick. She's like, deeper.
Keep going.
Deeper.
Keep going.
And I was like, damn, I'm out of PP over here. I mean, Q-tip.
They only had you put it in like a couple centimeters, a few centimeters.
Yeah, all the way.
Yeah, all the way. Like, I felt like it was going in one nostril, coming out the other one. It was great. It's fucking fantastic.
No, it was the least. It was the most overhyped shit that I've ever heard of.
That's only because somebody else wasn't sticking you in the fucking nose. It probably, what you heard was probably by people that had somebody else shove a fucking giant Q-tip in their fucking nostril.
Which I just straight up wouldn't let happen. Like,
I was saying it'd be funny if you were like a magician and you showed up
you, bitch.
and you did like the handkerchiefs in the nostril trick and you just kept pulling out shit.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Fuck with them like that.
Yeah, is that deep enough?
Yeah.
It's like a fucking long ass Q-tip, dog.
I did actually know a guy, though, I went to school with. Really weird, dude. He used to be able to take a nail, like one of those big long ass nails, and stick it all the way up his fucking nose till you could see it. And then he'd like pull it back out. And you're like, bruh, how did you do that? He's like, I don't know. It's like,
I got a big nose hole.
Here's the question.
How'd you figure that out to begin with?
Right. That's the main question, is that when he did that, because you got to remember, I was in high school, man. It was probably my sophomore year, right? So this dude's probably like 16, 17 years old, and knows that he could take a giant ass fucking like construction nail and like shove it all the way up his fucking nose. But something had to lead him to that way, like, hey, I could fit a lot of things in my nose. I wonder if I can stick this nail in my nose. Oh, what do you know? I can fit this nail in my nose. I wonder if he's still alive, because then you wonder, be like, well, now that I know I can take this nail in my nose, wonder what else I can fit up there.
Take it a step further.
You know what I mean? Like, how does that work? It's just like a neti pot. You know that I've never used a neti pot? You know what a neti pot is, right?
Cook rice?
No,
it's like a steam nose thing.
Thing, right? It's like hot water and salt. And it's supposed to put it in one nostril and it's supposed to come out the other nostril. I'm like, how in the fuck does that work? I don't trust that, dude. Like, I don't trust that. They're like, hey, all you got to do if you want your sinuses clean is drown yourself.
Right.
It's like, how does that work? Because the last time I checked, okay, so your sinuses, like you breathe in here, but your sinuses are proven to like go up into your forehead and like back and around in your fucking
there's no way it takes a full lap around the
like
dome.
how in the fuck are you getting it from this side to that side? It's not like it's fucking following this path because like your sinuses are attached to like a whole lot of shit. Which is the reason why if you get a sinus infection and shit, like your throat hurts, your hearing gets kind of clogged. I was whistling. Did you hear that? Because I touched my nose and then I started whistling. Weird.
I mean, it works for most people, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's got to be a thing. They sell them.
They all have deviated septums. All those people.
Right. Yeah, so I guess the conclusion is neti pots are for people who do cocaine.
Right. Neti pot for cocaine addicts.
And then they can clean out their nostrils so they get a better riff. I get it.
Yeah.
Makes sense now.
That's probably how your buddy figured out
I'm
about
done
the
questioning
nail.
it now. I'm done questioning it. Neti pots make sense for drug addicts. Got it.
A lot of people do cocaine.
A lot of people do cocaine.
A lot.
It's like the Rick James kind of shit. Cocaine is a hell of a drug, man.
Knox has been staying with me lately.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's been great.
We played some Yu-Gi-Oh.
Hell yeah, we played some Yu-Gi-Oh.
We played some pool.
Yep. I've beaten you in quite a few games of pool.
We've cooked for each other.
Yep. Your chicken was delicious.
Yeah.
Chicken was delicious.
And yeah.
We drank. We've also sat on the couch and talked until like 3 in the fucking morning, which is half-ass ridiculous. That was a really long conversation. I didn't even realize we were sitting there and talking for like fucking 4 hours or something.
Yeah.
Dude, we started talking around like 10 something. And then I went to go to bed and it was like 3:20. I was like, oh shit.
That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah, it's just like when I talked to you that one night and we were out until like 5:30 in the fucking morning, just sitting there talking. Literally, it's all we were doing.
You want to talk about your father? You can just do like a...
Dude. So, as you know, my father passed on Wednesday. It was a pretty fucked up thing, man. Like, I got the phone call. Right? Got the phone call. I was literally at work. Got the phone call. And I actually didn't answer it. That's the thing. It's like I got the phone call and I didn't answer it. It was from my aunt. And I was like, oh, I'm going to call tonight anyways to let my dad know about this whole COVID scare thing that's going on. And that I probably won't see him for, 3 or 4 days until I get the results back and shit. And then she left me a voicemail. And usually my aunt, she leaves me voicemails that are like, hey, sweetheart, it's Aunt Brenda. Give me a call back when you can, okay? Love you. But this one was just like literally like short and sweet and to the fucking point. She was just like, Christopher, call me back immediately. And I was like, well, shit, that sounds serious. I'm going to call her back. So I called her back and like, I was like, hey, I'm at work. What's going on? And she's like, Christopher, your father's dead. And dude, it was like somebody like hit me, I guess. Like I literally felt like my feet were gonna give out. Like I was like, and like all the hairs on my arms and shit, they stood up, and I got like real kind of like weak, and I sat down in the chair in the office, and I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, we found your father. He's passed away. And I was like, how? Are you sure? I mean, just that basic ass question. But yeah, turned out that he's actually gone. We're actually this upcoming Thursday on the 29th is his visitation and funeral and stuff. And like, it's kind of fucking me up a little bit, man. It's kind of fucking me up a little bit. And there's like multiple reasons for it. I mean, one, he's my dad. Two, I already lost my grandfather, right? A couple years back. And then I lost my father-in-law, and he was a great guy, but when I think one of the things that I'm having a hard time dealing with is like, so my grandfather's gone, my father-in-law is gone, my father's gone, and those were like the three people like as I look to as like male role model kind of thing. Not even just like, oh, this one's my dad, this one's my wife's dad, this one is, you know what I mean? It wasn't even anything like that. It was just like an older male that has experienced stuff that I haven't experienced yet. So they might be able to give me some guidance. I might fuck up and they might be like, oh, yeah, I remember doing that shit, and give me like a solution, like a correction. Like I always say that there's no fixing a problem unless you've created the problem, and then you can fix it. You know what I mean? Unless somebody fucks up, there's no fixing a fuck up. You can't fix something that you don't know how to fucking fix. You know what I mean? You got to learn from somebody else. But now I think where it's hitting me really hard is I realize that like I'm 40 years old and I have to literally at this point, I have to carve every path for me from this point on until my time comes. You know what I mean? Like there's nobody that's going to be there and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. Or, oh yeah, try this. None of that shit. Like I don't get any help from now on. You know what I mean? It has been fucking with me a lot though. My dad passing away because it was just like really sudden. I didn't see that shit coming.
61.
Yep, 61.
What they determine his cause of death was?
Cardiac. They decided that his death was cardiac, because his heart was like very enlarged. But they also found a mass in his esophagus, which he might have had undiagnosed esophageal cancer. And if that's the case, my sister says that this might have been a blessing in disguise, because esophageal cancer, I guess, is like one of the worst ways to go. Because there's no like cure for that. There's no coming back. Like it's a death sentence. It's like pancreatic cancer. Like it's a death sentence. Because they can't remove it because it's in your esophagus. You can't remove your fucking esophagus, dude. So, like, there's nothing they can fucking do for it. It's just like pancreatic cancer. You can't even fuck with the pancreas. The person's going to die. You know what I mean? So, like, it's kind of one of those things.
How do you get an enlarged heart? What does that mean?
It just means that your heart's working harder.
So
remember so it comes down to when I came out of the coma? Came out of the coma, and I was doing everything they told me to, and then I came back to work, and then like 3 weeks after I came back to work back in January or whatever, the January of that year or the January of the next, I don't know. Anyways, when I came back was it last January? No, it was January. I don't know. But I had fluid on my heart, and my back was getting super tight. It was making it really hard for me to get around. I was getting like dizzy because my heart was working twice as hard to pump the blood through my body because it was struggling against something. So it's just your heart with too much stress on it constantly, it starts to expand because the muscles start to give out. You got to remember the heart is just a giant muscle. So it starts to make room so that it can push more and it can do stuff. And in a large heart, it's a really bad thing. In fact, this is what's really weird about this is that we had our dog Cosmo. We had to put him down for the same thing. Like his heart, by the time we caught what was going on, he was suffering from congestive heart failure. And by the time we caught what was going on, his heart was so enlarged that there was nothing we could do. We literally had to sit there and like watch our dog, like, you know what I mean? And it's kind of the same thing that happened to my dad. And you know, the thing is though, I'm wondering if he had undiagnosed cancer or if he knew. Because, I mean, he did have a hip replaced, and they ran like a battery of tests and different medical procedures and shit on him. And I do remember him distinctly saying to me that his brother had died from cancer, his sister had died from cancer, and he wasn't going to die from cancer. Like, he didn't want to do that. You know what I mean? And that was after the hip surgery that he said that shit to me. So I'm wondering if he actually knew about it, and he just didn't tell anybody because that would make that shit real. You know what I mean? Like, that would be real. I have no idea, man.
Never know now.
No. You know, it's just, that's like one of those things. It's just like what went into his fucking pasta sauce. He took that shit to the grave. You know what I mean? Like, I'll never have a chance. I've told you about this. Like, I will never have a chance now to find out how in the fuck to make my dad sauce. And my dad made, like, the best fucking sauce, man. Like, literally. Like, the best sauce. And I'm never going to have that again. But that's, I mean, there's a couple of things that are really fucking with me on that whole thing, man. It's like, I'm kind of learning not to take shit for granted. Because, like, he left me voicemails on my phone, and I would listen to them, and I would delete them, and then I would call him back. And now I kind of wish that I would have kept at least one, just so that, like, for an ease to me, I feel like it might have been able to, if I was still able to hear his voice, you know what I mean? Like, one more time. Because I can't even call his phone to hear his voice, like, hey, leave me a message shit, because my dad's voicemail is literally him picking up the phone and hanging up, and then there's some weird robotic voices like, please leave your message for, you know what I mean? It's like, God damn it. I'm never going to be able to hear him ever again. Like, I can't hear it. There's like, I don't know, man. There's a couple of things, a couple of different scenarios that are happening with this that are kind of like fucking me up as a human being. I mean, I guess it's like one of those things everybody says that it gets better. I'm not sure if it gets better or if you just learn to live with it, just like everything else. Because I can't see, like, you missing somebody or feeling like you're missing out on their presence ever getting better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just a new reality.
Right. It's just, this is just the way they are right now. This is how things are from now on. And you just kind of got to accept it, I guess. Like, come to terms with it. Doesn't mean that it's going to get better. It just means that you're going to become more accepting to the simple fact that, like, that's just something that you're not going to fucking have anymore. You know what I mean? Like, as sad as it is with everything that's going on, man, I told somebody the other day, because, like, there's a whole lot of stuff that's going on there, and, like, everything that could happen, I would give it all away just to go and sit at the family restaurant that I went and ate with my father and have chicken fried steak and mashed potatoes with him one more time. You know what I mean? Like, so whatever you do, I mean, like, anybody, like, if you have somebody that you care about and shit, make sure that you're at good terms. Because, see, I know that my dad knows that I loved him. And I know that my father loved me. Like, I know that. But it still doesn't make that shit any easier. So I don't even know if there's anybody that's, like, on, like, real bad terms with somebody that they fucking care about. They love them, but they're, like, on real bad terms. Dude, squash that shit. Because this shit is literally a fleeting fucking moment, dude. It's a fleeting fucking moment. And I know that sounds cliche as fuck, dude. But I mean, all the way up, I want to say all the way up until my coma, when I realized my own mortality, I took almost everything for fucking granted. Like, everything.
It's
you know
really
what I mean?
Easy to do.
Like, that was the saddest part about it is, like, you look at the coma. Like, when I got out of the coma was the first thought in my head, like, well, kind of. I guess kind of when I first got up, the first thing I wanted to do was start working because I wanted to feel normal. I wanted to have some kind of normality back in my life. But I mean, it did take focus. So now, like, I really focus more. I'm really way more focused on, like, my kids and shit. You know what I mean? Like, making sure that they understand exactly where I sit. And then, like, losing, like, my father-in-law, losing my father after I woke up, and this stupid fucking pandemic bullshit, which is not a pandemic. It's a plandemic, but it's not a pandemic. All right, like, I'm gonna go with that one 100%.
All you need for the pandemic is panic and insert a dumb.
Yep. There you go. But, like, it is really making me understand that, like, this shit can be gone in, like, literally like a blink of a fucking eye. You know what I mean? And I don't think that I could take any of it for granted ever again. Like, it's just not a thing that I can do. Like, every moment is a moment that you need to be living or you need to experience. Like, the universe is definitely throwing something at you. You know what I mean? I hate, okay, this is the statement that I'm, like, okay, so I'm not religious, okay, in any way, shape, or form. But people always be like, who are religious, when you tell them what's going on, they're like, well, just remember, God doesn't put more on your plate than you can handle. And I want to look at it and be like, no, that's bullshit, dude. Sometimes if you believe in God, I believe that sometimes he just puts shit on your plate and goes, handle it. Like, you're not leaving, you're not getting an opportunity or a choice on that shit. Don't think that that's a fucking option. Like, you're dealt this shit. And it's what you do with it is what you can do with it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the difference. Is if you're going to crumble underneath of it, you just got to be a strong individual and realize that, like, the world don't owe you shit and that your life isn't a fucking given. Anything can be taken away from you. And just try to enjoy the shit while you have it, I guess. Like, live in that fucking moment. People plan too much for the fucking future, but don't live enough in the fucking moment. They're always looking to further away. Like people that are working like a 9-to-5 fucking job. They go to work. They're not trying to experience anything while they're there. They're just trying to do the job, get back home. But then when they get back home, they're probably fucking tired. They're probably not spending time with their fucking family. They just keep looking forward to that fucking 1 week that they might have some fucking vacation. It's like, no, take the time out. Take a fucking breath. Realize that there's still people in your fucking life while you're at fucking work. And if your job doesn't understand that you're still a fucking human being, then maybe you should reconsider working somewhere else. Your employment needs to change. You know what I mean? That's like, it gets all the way back down to like corporate businesses. Like that's the one thing I hate about it because they don't treat people like people. They treat them like a fucking number. You're literally a number. That's the reason why they're like, this is your employee number. An employee number, bro. Like, that's fucked up. They don't look at you as anything other than a fucking working ant that helps them get to their end goal. You're not a fucking person. They don't get to fucking know you. So they don't actually care about you. And those are the ones that, like, with the situation that, like, I'm in right now with my father and the funeral and everything, those are the ones that'd be like, well, we'll give you X amount of hours off for the funeral. It's like, nah, dude, I lost my dad. You know what I mean? It goes all the way back from when I worked for like the state oil company, and I literally, my son, I needed to pick my son up. And I said, hey, I need to leave a little early today. Now I work 72 hours a fucking week for these assholes, dude. Like, okay, 72 hours a week on fucking salary, which means they only paid me up to 40 fucking 5. The rest of those motherfuckers was just my time gone. That they just expected me to fucking work. So I called him up and I said, hey, I need to leave early. My son's bus is getting dropped off. My ex-wife can't make it there. I need to be there to pick him up. And he said, okay. The district manager showed up at the work. He's like, I'll be there in just a minute. He showed up and he's like, just remember, work comes first. And when he said that to me, I turned and I was like, what? And he was like, work comes first. And I was like, no offense, dude. I was like, I work to live, but I don't live to work. You know what I mean? Like, bro, if you believe that your job comes fucking first, then you're doing this shit all wrong. You're doing this shit all wrong. Your mental state, you as a human being, or like your happiness and the people that are around you, that should be fucking first. Like, first fucking priority. As long as you're happy with the decisions that you're fucking making and like you can live with that shit, then that's fine. But don't sacrifice your time for somebody who's never going to understand or not appreciate the simple fact that you're sacrificing your fucking time.
Where it gets confusing and hard to make that decision kind of is like, oh, I want to put all these hours in and focus on my work and money so that I could spend more time with my family later.
Right.
You know, there's always like the later mentalities.
But see, that's the thing is like, is it... Okay, so that's kind of like retirement. Even though it shows that like, when people retire from their jobs, usually they die within the first 5 years of retiring. You know what I mean? Like that's like statistics. Because you lose your purpose. When work becomes your purpose, then you lose your purpose. When you have no purpose, you kind of decide that you have nothing to live for anymore. You got to try to enjoy the moments, like your days off. Make those days off fucking good. Yes, you're going to have to go to work. Dude, it's just the way that it works. You have to, you literally have to give up time for money, right? You literally have to give up time for money. But the one thing that people forget, and they always forget, dude, is that like time, if you're wasting that time when you're not earning money, dude, time is a commodity that you cannot get any more of. Money, you can always earn more money, right? Money comes, it goes. You lose some, you win some. Time, once that shit's gone, the shit's always gone, dude. Never getting that back. It's never going to return. Ever. So make sure that when you have that time, everybody's got to work. But when you have that time, that you're actually doing something that you want to do and not something that somebody's making you feel like you're being forced to fucking do. Make sure that that time that you have is actually a decision that you're making. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the quickest way to live. Try to live as best as you possibly can with like the least amount of regrets. Stop focusing on the future. Try to live in the here and now. Like, okay, so let's say you work 8 hours a day, right? But you're up for fucking 12 hours. What are you doing for that other 4 hours? You want to know what it is? A lot of people spend a lot of time wasting that, bitching about dumb shit about their 8 hours, wasting that additional 4 hours, bitching about the 8 hours that they had previous to it, and then watching some TV and probably eating something that came out of the fucking microwave. Bro, you got nothing to live on this at this point. Like, yeah, all you have now is work, bitching, eating, watching TV. Like, that you have decided at this point, that's what's important.
It's definitely something of a double-edged sword, deciding, money over time or money over family time.
Well, it's...
Because you want to provide for your family and you want to be able to have more time later, which is why you're putting all these hours into work. But then your
balance is a bitch.
Your kid's only going to be 12 once.
See, here's the thing, though, too. Is that, like, let's look at families, right? So that's also a double-edged sword. Because you have kids, right? Now, you could have time, and you can be broke. And your kids are going to be like, I wish we would have had more shit once they're grown up. We were poor kids, right? And then you got rich kids who are going to be like, I just wish that my dad was around. Because their dad was working their ass off. It's a lose-lose situation. It's a catch-22. You got to try to find that balance. Because the thing is, like, give them a decent living, right? And still be around to catch, like, their fucking choir concerts or their fucking baseball games. Shit like that. Make time for them so they still feel like they're fucking special, but still be able to provide them with a life. Stop aiming so fucking high to give up anything on either scale. You gotta, like, it's that gray area. It can't be black. It can't be white. You gotta find that fucking gray area. Unfortunately, most of us are never gonna figure that out. I mean, fucking I know this shit and I still have a hard time trying to find that balance. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. And I can preach about it all day long, but that doesn't mean that I'm following my own fucking sermons. I mean, I know who I am as a person. You know who I am. Like, I'll get stuck in fucking work, dude, and I'll just fucking go. Like, I'll get focused on something, and I'll fucking go. You have the same fucking problem. And there's just, you know what I mean?
It is really easy to take shit for granted.
It really is.
Like in relationships, like, having her always there maybe, and then, like when she's not there, then you want to do better, and then you guys are back together because you improved and you spent more time with her, or you did whatever she was asking for you to do, and then usually you fall into that same rut.
Yep.
I'm pretty bad about taking shit for granted in general.
I think
my health I take for granted.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that's just like human nature, though. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's how we keep ourselves from focusing on the negatives all day. Because I mean, if you think about it, every step that a human being takes, we're on the edge of fucking disaster, right? Anytime that no warning is given, dude, you could get up out of your bed, stumble over some shit, bang your head on your fucking bed frame, die right the fuck there. Nothing is fucking given. But the reason why we make it through all this shit, knowing that instead of being like an anxious pile of fucking mush, scared to go fucking anywhere, is by just taking shit for fucking granted. So like that whole like, don't take shit for granted, like the shit that I just spewed out, it makes sense when people hear it, but it's really hard to like actually put it into effect.
Yeah, like people be worrying too much about all that they can't control.
Right. See, like, This is where it gets really fucking fucked up for me, is because to know this shit, and when somebody starts talking to me about it, to be able to like pretty much it's not even like a rebuttal for an argument. It's more or less me just like finishing up their statements, and knowing this shit, still being unable to fucking like literally see it all the way through, because I think that's just part of human nature. It's like how we move forward is by literally, it sounds stupid, but by taking shit for fucking granted. Like when I walk out in the morning to go to work, I am expecting my car to start. Doesn't mean it's going to. but I am expecting it. And every time that it does start, I take it for granted that that's what's going to happen the next morning. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just fucked up.
Other stuff. What you should talk about what you've been into lately, Kurt.
I've been into some weird shit as per usual. While Marco and Co were nearly dead from COVID, not really, but they had it probably. ZZ did for sure. Anyways, put together a music video for my buddy Jake Hefner. You should check it out. You're fucking up if you don't.
Spell it.
It's Jayk Hefner, Heffner. Song is called No One Cares.
Great song.
We could probably we'll drop the link in the comments.
Yeah, it's a bop. You should check it. And I'm on my way to becoming a master perfumer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got a new one on today?
yeah, a couple of them.
A couple different ones on today.
Yeah.
So now what you're saying is you smell like a strip club?
Nah, not really. I don't really
Well,
design
you come back
too
when
many.
you smell like a strip club because I want to remember the nostalgia.
Well, you need blood, sweat, and semen, which are 3 pretty rare fragrances.
Those have got to be available.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can find them. You're just not searching the right websites.
Yeah.
Maybe that should be my first drop. The blood, sweat, and semen collection.
I like that.
Someone is a 3-piece.
Someone did that. Someone did. Someone famous. It was like a Cardi B type who did.
Lady Gaga?
Yeah, I think it was Lady Gaga.
I
Who
think it
did
was
like
too.
blood, sweat, and semen or something like that. Like a raw sex scent.
Dude, I almost
Shit.
feel like I'm half tempted right now to pull out my fucking phone and Google that shit. Because, like, I've never heard of this, and now I am really sparked with curiosity.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah,
Dude,
you look it up.
You start looking into
Like,
fragrances, man, and
I've never
it's off
heard of
to the
this shit.
races, man.
I will say, though, I have actually been pretty interested in your fragrances because there's, like, a couple in there. Like, what I like is that, like, some of them, man, you've been working with teak, and I think teak is, like, really, really, like, underrated.
Teak is super underrated.
Like, and, like, I really like the fragrance of teak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it has, like, it's almost like, it's like a bold but yet soft note. It's weird, dude.
Yeah, it's sharp, but not too sharp.
Right.
So I just did a quick Google, and I don't know which one Lady Gaga's is, but semen-scented perfume inspired by AIDS. We got
Wow.
Etat Libre d'Orange.
They do make perfumes out of human
What?
essences.
What did you just say? Etat?
Etat Libre d'Orange, some French shit. The company selling the perfume calls it Secretions Magnifique.
Secretions Magnifique.
And it has notes of not just semen, but also blood, sweat, and saliva.
Ooh.
Yep.
And then scrolling down further, there was something about blood. This is a title of an article. Blood, semen, poop, and whale's ass are the scents of your partner really wants.
Quite
What?
potentially.
Could you imagine that? Be like, oh, dude, that would be such a real weird fucking turn on. Like, you're like, oh, I have this girl coming over. I better put on my whale ass.
Yeah. Get some whale
Dude,
ass.
This is what really gets her engine roaring.
Works for whales. Especially if she's bigger, you know?
Jesus Christ.
Y'all laugh, but the animal excrements have been long used in perfumery.
Well, no, you know what the thing is like, the thing that's always bothered me, okay, is like vanilla flavoring, right? Vanilla flavoring, there's that whole thing where it's like an anal gland and a fucking beaver or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Kistorium.
And somebody just asked me this. Was it you? Was it you?
I think we were just talking about
We were just talking about this. Where, like, somebody looked at me and they're like, dude, who do you think was the... And it's been running through my mind quite frequently, like, how did they find that out?
Yeah.
Like, literally, there had to be some guy.
How many animal
Some
asses
guy. And
did you
I'm gonna say some guy.
Yeah.
Because we know that, like, it's not gonna be like a lady who's gonna be like, I'm going to eat that beaver's ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it had to be some guy who was like, well, I'm hungry and it's there. I'm going to eat that beaver's ass. And they were like, hey, this tastes like vanilla. You know what I mean? Like, how does that happen?
They
like,
probably
how
knew that it tasted like vanilla before they knew what vanilla tasted like. The world was a small place.
Like they ate beaver's ass and then they had
trade.
vanilla and they're like, this tastes just like, that would be really fucked up. Instead of like, this beaver's ass tastes like vanilla. Somebody eats vanilla for the first time and they're like, this tastes like beaver ass.
Totally feasible, man.
Like that would
exactly
be fucking
how it went down.
amazing, dude.
My
Like that
guess
changes
is that
my whole perspective on everything.
they've been
like, how
killing-
would they know that vanilla tasted like a beaver's ass?
It's just utilization, you know. You kill the beaver, you take the pelt, and you're like, well, what do I do with this?
Eat it.
Eat it.
Eat it, sniff
Somebody-
it.
So what you're saying
Yeah.
is, even when we're adults, we're still like toddlers, where we're like, well, I don't know what that is. I'll just put it in my mouth.
Well, I don't know if they started off straight eating the beaver ass, but
So why?
it was definitely found to be.
Why do they need to get it from a
aromatic,
beaver's ass if like vanilla actually exists?
because it's not going to smell like exactly vanilla. It just has notes of vanilla.
So it's just the scent. that
Castoreum is not a one-on-one vanilla type. It's
You're saying that vanilla doesn't smell like vanilla?
well,
No, I think what
in
he's
many
saying is-
senses of what you'd be referring to colloquially, no.
I think what he's trying to say
So
is,
like,
why use beaver ass if you already have vanilla at your disposal?
and the answer to that is
Beaver
that
ass smells more like
it's-
vanilla than vanilla.
not necessarily. Probably the most vanilla.
What do you mean not necessary? No, it should be, the answer should be not at all. Like there's no way that beaver ass smells more like vanilla than vanilla.
Bring the beaver in here. We brought a beaver for the show, guys.
Like not
You might think
necessarily.
that.
No, not at all. That
Well,
would be the correct
what I'm
answer
saying,
for that.
the true answer is for its other aromatic properties. Castoreum, like other animal excrements such as civet and deer musk, is used in perfumery because it helps project other base notes. It's not like it has much of a... It's not really used for its scent by itself or on its lonesome. It's more like combine it with other like wood type scents for base notes, and it gives it a more voluminous type of... Makes your scents last longer and more projection to the overall scent.
Okay.
Primarily, that's like your musk.
Okay, so what you're saying is that like a beaver's
Ambers.
asshole, the scent of a beaver's asshole is going to carry further than vanilla on its own, correct?
Largely, yeah.
But a vanilla is still going to smell more like vanilla than a beaver's ass, right?
Well, it depends when you say vanilla. Because
It
vanilla is a
depends.
tricky one. It does. Like if you took like vanilla is, so you can get like vanillin or ethyl vanillin, which probably smells the most like vanilla.
I'm talking about like straight on vanilla.
If you took
Like
a
everything
straight,
everything
if you
is
took
based
a
on vanilla
straight
on. You take the
vanilla
the
bean
subject.
extract,
Right.
it would probably smell less like vanilla than a synthetically derived compound like vanillin or ethyl vanillin. Scents are crazy, man.
I'm getting really confused here,
And then
man. He did literally
realm-
just say that like non-vanilla things are going to smell more like vanilla than vanilla, correct?
Yeah. I'm trying to have a
Yes.
pet beaver now. Just test this out.
He's going to lick
Where
this
do you find
beaver's
a
ass.
beaver?
He's going to lick this beaver's ass to find out like how much like vanilla this ass tastes.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like,
they don't really use too many animal compounds over here in the Western countries anymore. But what you get abroad is maybe a little different.
So now
So-
here's the real question. So they use the beaver's ass for fragrance, right? Pretty much. Like the plant.
Originally, yeah. Now there's synthetic.
Did they? But
Uh,
okay. Well, just let me. Did
Yes.
they use it for food flavoring?
I don't think so.
Because that would be really fucked up if they did do that.
I'm
and
not-
they
I'm
did
not sure.
Could you imagine that passing the FDA? They're like, oh yeah, shoot, beaver anal
Seems
glands,
legit.
dude. That's fucking yeah. That's fine. Like,
How many beaver
oh, you guys have
asses-
vanilla,
here's the
but you're
thing.
choosing to use a beaver's ass.
If it's
instead?
not
FDA
intended
approved.
for food or drug use, it could probably be FDA approved.
That's so fucked up.
How many beaver asses does it take to make like a bottle of beaver ass vanilla?
Like a
pure firm?
sizable amount. I'm not
Perfume.
sure about that. But
Like, can we just give it a rough draft? Like 12 beavers.
A good comparison would be civet essence, which is kind of like the same thing. A civet's like this cat-like creature that lives in Africa and I think like India.
And it has the vanilla butthole too.
No, it has a different butthole.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon butthole.
No, it's considered very like fecal in high concentrations, but when used in smaller amounts, it's a fixative, so it boosts the sense of other scents, and
but
has
does it
like
smell
a
like
slight
anything good, like a
floral
beaver's
aroma.
ass? That's all I'm asking.
It does, yeah. It has a slight floral
what
aroma.
does it smell like? Does it smell like capers?
Floral means flowers.
But what kind of flower are we talking about now?
I don't know particularly.
Is it like, oh, this cat's ass smells like lilies?
This shit is the cat's ass.
It might be.
Yeah,
That's
like,
another thing too. Identifying a particular
isn't-
flower. So, like, let's say you want to talk about jasmine. There's 2,000 species of just jasmine.
Okay.
Just one flower, one typical.
Dude, I will say that I
aromatic
do
compound.
actually like jasmine though.
Jasmine is dope.
Dude, it's got like such a fucking like,
It's iconic.
yeah, it's like almost like
Clean, white, luscious.
yeah, I would say it's almost herbal in nature, man. Like it has this absolute smell that just makes me feel kind of calm. It's not like lavender, which, you know what's funny about lavender is everybody's like, oh, lavender, the smell of lavender, it makes you like feel relaxed or tired. I have never gotten that. I'm just like, man, I really don't like the way this smells.
So that gets into aromatherapy, which I don't believe in as far as it's overly stated what it can do. But that's kind of like saying, oh, I don't believe music impacts my mood or anybody's mood at all. That's just plain out wrong. Like,
Right.
It definitely affects my mood, I know for a fact. And same with scent compounds and aromas as well. So I think I'm most interested in it because you can create a statement or invoke emotions without having to say or do anything. It's just present.
Gotcha.
And
So, would you say that with your fragrances, that what you're trying to do is you're trying to find
A partner and try to draw her in with just smell.
yeah, I'm
way you
trying to get
don't-
laid.
That way you don't have to. That way you don't have to talk. You just walk in. That would be amazing if you figured out a fragrance like that. You just walk in. You just look at a lady like across the room. You walk by. You know that you caught her because of the smell. You just turn back and you just look at her and you're like, no words ever exchanged, and she's like on you. Like she's
That's
like,
an actual possibility.
It's not impossible.
People like smells.
They do. A lot of people like smells and they don't even realize they like smells.
Yeah. I did have a guy tell me once when a good smelling lady walked by, he said, I'm a sucker for smells. I thought that was a little creepy, but also, I think we're all kind of suckers for smells.
It's all depending on who this guy was.
He was a delivery driver at my parents' restaurant, and he's a smell sucker.
He's a sucker for smell.
Yeah, you know who else is a smell sucker too is Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
You can probably reel him in.
I wonder. Maybe that's the reason why he keeps sniffing all those little girls' heads.
Yeah.
Maybe they all use the same shampoo, and he's just like addicted to that one scent.
Yeah, it could
That
just be the shampoo.
He's like, could you see it? Like it's like he sniffs their head, and then afterwards he's like, "Is that suave?"
Quite possible.
It's that fresh breeze by Suave. I'm a sucker for. You know what I'm saying?
There's nothing to excuse him on that.
Dude, there's no excuse for Biden at all. Like, how in the fuck is it that somehow a corpse is literally running for president and it's still able to talk? Like, do they hold him up? Is there like a stick behind him that holds him standing? Like, I'm confused by him because he looks like literally if you took Jack Skellington from A Nightmare Before Christmas and tried to paint him like flesh tone, I really feel like that is Biden.
He took a page out of his son's book and just dabs a little cocaine.
cocaine and hookers.
Honestly, he needs to do that. Like, for mental sharpness and shit. Like, you can tell, like, when he talks that he's got, like, the old person dementia shit going on.
Will you just
Like,
shut up, man?
Yeah, you clown. Like, why doesn't he do more drugs? Like, get that man an Adderall script.
Get that man an Adderall.
That would
I'm pretty
save
sure that would put him over the edge.
Yeah, you want to
dude.
save a country.
That motherfucker would die before anybody could even elect him.
Yeah, probably not too good on the ticker.
Yeah, Adderall. What killed Joe? Motivation.
There are those who believe that Trump takes Adderall, which it's got to be on something.
Look, I'm not going to take that away from him. I'm not going to say, oh no, there's no way. Look, here's the thing, man. I'm not a Trump guy. I'm not a Biden guy. I don't line with any kind of political party whatsoever. All right. I'm one of those, like, I vote for whoever I think is going to do the fucking job the fucking best. That's what makes the most sense. And I can tell you right now, I honestly feel like there's no way that Biden would do the best job cleaning my toilet, much less running a whole fucking country. I'm not even going to say we're the greatest country in the world because we're fucking not. But I will say that, like, there's no way that I think that we're going to get there by Biden being in fucking office.
Here's the thing with Jo Jorgensen. First of all, she got in pretty late. Like, she might have, like, said she was going to be president or announced it way earlier, but no one ever heard about it until, like, the last few months.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't have a shot there. And then when people were like, it's not throwing your vote away to vote for Joe because, like, you can't really throw your vote away and she has a shot and all this shit. It really is. Right now it's between Biden and Trump and she does not have a shot. And to all those people, I would say after the election, let's see her get 3% of the popular vote and tell me that wasn't throwing your vote away. Like, she's not even going to be close.
Yeah, but I mean,
and you can still vote for her.
I mean, I'd have to go with voting on your standards or voting on the person that you believe would do the best job is never throwing your shit away.
The Libertarian Party doesn't. They know they're not going to win this election, but if they have a significant increase in support,
they might be able to get the next one.
They're probably going to continue to see increased level.
Now,
of
this
support.
is one thing that
I still wouldn't necessarily say it's throwing it away.
Now, this is the one thing that I will say. Okay, now back in the 90s, there was a three-way race between who was it? It was like Clinton, Bush, and Ross Perot, right? Some $1 billion fucking chicken farmer motherfucker, dude.
He ran multiple times. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they let him on stage to do debates and shit, right? And it's almost like everybody's like, well, why are the only two parties? And I this is gonna go into like one of those giant plans, okay? So Ross Perot was rich enough to run his own goddamn shit. Like, he didn't need any financial backing. He didn't have to take anybody. But he's also crazy as fuck. All right? So they were like, this is the time. This is the time we let a third party get up here and do these debates.
And make a fool of himself.
Because now everybody's going to sit back. It's just how human nature is. Everybody's going to sit back anytime there's a third party. Because they remember Republicans being decent. They remember Democrats being decent. And then they remember Ross Perot running around acting like a fucking chicken on his fucking state. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, no, that third party is fucked up. And he ran independently. He's not even libertarian.
And he ruined it for the next few decades.
Right, exactly. Because people like to stick with the devil that they know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They like to, no matter what it is, whatever it could be, people fight change, regardless if it's good for them, it's bad for them, they don't care, they fight it. They fight fucking change. All right? That's the reason why, like, there's been multiple, do you believe in extraterrestrials? Do you believe in life on other planets?
Yes.
Right, so do I. And then people will put down that question of like, well, if there's extraterrestrials or there's life on other planets, why have they not shown themselves to us? Because they're smart enough to know that they look down here and they're like, oh, fuck, we look different. We're fucked.
Yeah, or just fuck that.
We wouldn't even know what they come in. We wouldn't even give them time to say, we come in peace. They come down, we like, they look fine, shoot them.
Yeah, it's like when we go marching around in a rainforest, the inhabitants of the rainforest aren't like, oh, I think there's some people here watching us. There's some other species that doesn't belong. Nah, it just happens. So even if they are here, the fuck if we would know.
But to bridge that, as I was saying about Jo Jorgensen.
Oh shit,
yes. Let's hear it on Dr. Joe.
Please give us.
I'm just saying that if you're voting for her to make a statement, like you were saying, to like show the strength of the Libertarian Party, that's one thing which it's not going to show that much strength because she's not even going to get probably 3% of the popular vote. But that's one thing. But if you're voting for her to actually be president, that is throwing your vote away.
Yeah, see, I'm gonna have.
She's not going to be president. That'll be proven after the election when she gets.
She probably will not make that, but a conscious decision. Like I have come to the conclusion that like of everybody that's running, right? Like, everybody that's running, I don't believe that she's going to win. I do agree with a lot of her policies, a lot of shit that she's been talking about. Like I have like I actually feel like she would probably be best for the job because I think that she actually has like she has the American people like in mind. She's not going in there with selfish intents or trying to run some kind of fucking agenda.
But she lacking that clout, boy.
Right. But here's the thing. You can say that it's throwing away a vote, right? But every person that votes for Joe Jorgensen is not voting for Biden. And if it's really going to come down to a Trump-Biden thing, I'm going to have to go with Trump. And the reason why I'll have to say that I would prefer Trump to be in office is because I'm tired of fucking politicians. Like, I'm tired of them talking to me like talking to the American people like fucking school counselors. Like, motherfucker, you're not above us. And the one thing that I've stated this numerous times, and the one thing that the fucking government has not done, and they cannot remember, is they only have their fucking jobs because we allow them to fucking have them. All right? So I'm going to put that out there that, like, at any one point in time, we, the motherfucking people, could fucking fire them for not doing their job fucking correctly. We're supposed to have that fucking right. And for some reason, we've let them make us believe that they're all so powerful, but they're not. The only power they have is the power that we give them. And I don't want Joe in office. Like, I don't. The simple fact that they think that they can just enact taxes without us fucking voting on it. I mean, we just had that happen here in Illinois, right? Taxes came up. Did anybody vote for it? Did you vote for a tax? No. Did you vote for a tax? No, either did I. But, I mean, we'll go to jail if we're like, I don't want to pay any of those taxes, but it's in our Constitution that any tax without representation is fucking illegal. You know what I'm saying? Yet they can just pass fucking taxes and be like, yeah, it sounds like it's a good idea to us. But they didn't ever ask any of the fucking people that fucking live here if we thought it was a fucking good idea. They just did that shit. Government has gotten too full of them fucking selves. And they forgot that the reason why they have the power is because we have allowed them to have it. And all we have to do is literally wake the fuck up. Everybody gets on the same fucking page. Stop fighting against each other for stupid fucking reasons like they're homosexual or they're a different fucking color or they're immigrants or any of that shit. Stop. You're American fucking people. Realize who the real fucking enemy is. I am not the enemy of anybody that's out there. All right? The people that I have a problem with is the people that feel like they're in a position of power to tell me what the fuck I'm doing with my life. All right? Because last time I checked, I'm a grown-ass man. I can make my own goddamn decisions. And I feel like I should have the fucking right to make a goddamn grown-ass fucking man decision, dude. Like, I feel like I can take care of myself. I've been doing it. And all they've been doing is stealing from me. How come it is that the government gets to see my fucking paycheck before I do? I'm the one to fucking work for it. Fuck them, dude.
There is some politicians who will vote party lines or the way they want to vote no matter what. But the majority of politicians will change their opinion if they're presented with the right evidence, number one. And two, the concept that there's enough people voting in that favor that they will lose the election if they vote if they
right. I mean, I get that, but I think that the problem that we have too is that we have career politicians, people that have literally made their living.
Those are the politicians I'm not talking. Those are the ones that probably will vote party lines or how they're going to vote no matter what.
We have, and that's another thing too, man. I'm tired of that shit. Like people, I feel like people need to wake the fuck up. Like when I say I don't align myself with anybody, I don't. I align myself with whoever I think is going to do the best fucking job. You know what I mean? And when people are like, oh, I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican, like you've already decided, right or wrong, that's who you're fucking voting for. This isn't a fucking football team. Your decision actually fucking matters in this shit. You know what I mean? You can't make an alignment and be like, that's what I am. No, the politician that's running is running Democrat. But that doesn't make you a fucking Democrat. That makes you an individual that's making a fucking decision.
A big problem is that people don't know candidates' views on a lot of shit. So when they go to the polling place, like for me, of all the people I'm going to be voting for, which I haven't voted yet, but I'm going to.
Yeah, I was actually going to go this week because they were doing early voting, and I really want to vote in person. Like, I feel strongly about that. I refuse to do that mail-in thing.
Yeah.
But with the shit that's been going on with, like, my dad and all that other stuff, I have to wait until fucking next week or whatever. I
know maybe, like, decently know, like, 5 or 10% of the politicians that I'm voting on.
Right.
And to be honest, the rest of them, because you vote for everyone.
Yep, you're just guessing.
Yeah, and the rest of them, unless I know anything different, I'm going to vote Republican. Like, it's a dirty thing to do. It's fucked up. Yeah, but I'm going to vote party lines. No, see that. I also haven't looked up every single candidate and their stance on everything.
Here's the thing. This is the one credit that I will give to the, because I'm probably, for the ones that I don't know, that's probably what I'm going to do also. And I'm not saying I'm doing that because you're doing it. I'm doing that because
that's what a lot of people do.
I'm doing that because on the same basis of, like, I genuinely feel at this point that there's enough evidence out there for the Democratic Party to be disassembled. I get it. Like, you want votes. I got it. But you don't get to tell the people, like, if you're this, you should vote for me. If you're this, you should vote for me. If you're this, you should vote for me. Like, they don't get to tell you, like, well, if you're a single mother, you should vote Democrat. If you're gay, you should vote Democrat. Do the Republicans ever do that shit? Hey, if you're a beer drinking white guy, you should vote Republican. No, they don't do that shit, man. And the reason why they don't do that is because they realize that you should be smart enough to make a rational fucking decision. I've never heard one Republican go on fucking stage and be like, you should vote for me because I like beer.
Republicans are such a superior party.
The biggest sell of Republicans is that generally they are for less taxes and smaller government.
See, now here's the thing too, is that, like, this is one thing I did get into a discussion today. Actually, yeah. Go ahead, finish up your statement, and I'll tell you this story.
Most people can agree that big government sucks and government overreaches and they're a problem. And those same people that agree to that will still vote Democrat, and Democrats are generally for more regulation and bigger government. That's like just the main lapse in logic right there. Mm-hmm. If you want smaller government, vote Republican.
Now they even target those groups. They say, if you're tired of this racial injustice and these systematically corrupt, let's get some more people in that.
There's a lot of Republicans that pledge they will never vote for a tax increase, and like, probably most, if not all, Illinois Republicans have like pledged that, and they don't, and that's who you want to vote for. Like, who, you know,
I don't.
Tax increase is never the right option, and a Republican is much more likely to not vote for higher taxes. It is much more likely to choose less regulation than a Democrat. Like, if you really feel like you trust your government that much, then vote Democrat.
Right. Well, see, this is where I'm starting to lose faith in, like, the American people. When Joe Biden literally goes on stage and goes, "Of course, I'm gonna increase the taxes on the American people," and people are still like, "We should vote for him."
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, dude.
Because they think that they think that he's increasing taxes on just the rich, but that's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
It could be the rich first, but it's always going to be the middle and lower class.
Dude, if anybody's ever worked a fucking job, right? They should know this. So the owner calls down to fucking a district manager, and bitches at a district manager. The district manager bitches at his fucking managers. The managers bitch at their fucking employees. Everybody should know by now that shit rolls downhill. Yes, you might not be affected by it immediately, but eventually you are going to be fucking affected by it. And, like, that's the dumbest fucking shit I've ever fucking heard in my entire life. If anybody doesn't understand that concept, then you never had a fucking job. Yeah. All right? Like, shit rolls downhill.
The fair tax that they're trying to pass in Illinois. So they say that they're only taxing people on incomes $250,000 or higher. The way it actually breaks down is, that is the proposed tax now. So what people are going to vote for with the fair tax is Illinois legislature's ability to tax people based on tax brackets versus right now, which is a flat tax. The flat tax is 4.99%
Right.
for everyone. So if we vote yes to this, which I think it's probably not going to pass, but if we do pass it, it'll give the legislature ability to make tax brackets and to tax the rich more and tax the middle class differently.
Which sounds great.
Yeah. So what it breaks down to for middle and lower class people, like I actually did the calculator thing, for a salary of like $40,000 a year with one dependent, the middle class, which that would be middle, is saving like $92 a year, which is not shit.
Minuscule as fuck.
Compared to other taxes that they've raised, like the vehicle registration fees and shit like that.
Not even saving $2 a week.
Yeah. So if you want to look at examples of how this actually plays out, Connecticut was the last state to do it like almost 30 years ago. No state's done it since. And 2 states have gone back to a flat tax since. 2 states have reverted back. So Connecticut was the last to do it with the promise that we're going to raise taxes on the rich and keep the taxes low for middle and lower class. Since then, they've raised taxes on middle class 13%, which is going to be the exact same story here. They're starting it. They're trying to pass this with the promise that they won't raise taxes, but of course, down the road, it gives them the ability to do so.
Well, the one thing that people have to look at on this thing too, it falls in that category of shit rolls downhill, right? So they're like, oh, we're going to tax the rich. Well, the rich usually employ the middle class. So if you tax the rich, that's going to be held accountable for the middle class. So not only are we looking at the simple fact that they have the ability to tax anybody they want to at any point in time, change the fucking tax brackets, but we're also looking at the simple fact that like the people that have X amount of money are used to having X amount of money. And that means that they have to do like budget cuts, they will.
So what the pros will say to that is that there's no evidence supporting that when taxes are raised on the rich, that they move states. There's apparently no evidence supporting. First of all, there's conflicting studies, but it's not overwhelmingly.
Wait a minute. There's no evidence that when the rich are getting taxed, that they move to a different state where they're not getting taxed like that. Right. What about all the businesses that left the USA and went and built companies in fucking China and shit? I mean, I'm sorry, but that's got to be a large fucking proof that when you refuse to give them a tax break, they go someplace that does.
Right.
Yeah, but it could be something as stupid as if those guys are being studied, what do they actually cite for their reason of moving, and then they just say, oh, we just wanted to be in a better location.
Right. So I would say there's a difference. It's difficult to move your headquarters as a business to a different state. Like if we just uprooted to Indiana.
Moving your business to avoid taxes isn't really a good look for your company.
It's not a good look for your company, and it's expensive.
But
are we going to break all of our leases and move all the employees and our customer base over to a different state? No. But something that people don't think about or talk about or look at, the pros of this, is how many businesses does it deter from coming into that state to begin with?
Right.
Which is
like next year, if this passes next year, maybe very few businesses are actually going to leave the state, if any. But how many people are going to look at the state and be like,
fuck
okay,
that.
Yeah, we have 50 states to choose from.
I mean,
we're not going to go there.
Dude, I just want to say that if you look at Rockford in general, we were promised a White Castle not once but twice, and we haven't gotten a White Castle because of the taxes.
Right, where's the fucking White Castle?
Like, how fucked up is it that you can go into Chicago, get White Castle, but White Castle won't come to Rockford? Like, I don't know how badly they're trying to tax White Castle, but White Castle's like, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, we won't go there and serve them up dollar fucking sliders. Like, I'm sorry, man. I get drunk just like the normal American man is. And every once in a while, I want a greasy, shitty fucking little slider burger. And I can't get one because I don't live in the Chicago area. I live in fucking shitty-ass little Rockford. Yeah. So what do you know what I get? Taco Bell.
I was trying to look this up the other day, but you might remember it. But in Rockton, kind of near like that. Okay, so if you're heading into like downtown Rockton, you have Route 2, and then you're taking a left. You take that curve. So like along that curve, this was like 5 to 10 years ago. I think it was Groupon that tried to open. I'm asking you because like I don't actually remember because I tried looking it up. I think it was Groupon that was going to open a facility with X amount of employees, it would generate X amount of revenue. It was some coupon company, a bigger coupon company.
It's the only one I know of, so must have been.
Yeah. But anyways, they ended up, because of taxes, literally they ended up just opening across the border in Wisconsin. I was trying to find that specific story. I'll find it at some point. But, like, I distinctly remember that when I was fucking maybe 15, hearing that and, like, oh, okay, so they didn't open because, like, just literally Illinois was trying to tax them too much. That's it.
See, I don't understand what it is. Like, okay, so I've lived in Illinois for, fuck, dude, I don't even know how long. I mean, there was a small point in time where I lived in Texas, but I was, like, real young. So we're just going to say I've lived in Illinois for at least 37 years. Okay? And in the entire time I've been here, why is it that Illinois as a state decides to fuck itself out of businesses? Like, it literally is so greedy that it will stop businesses from coming here, increasing the overall fucking state wealth. Right? You got to stop doing that shit, man.
I think it's just old money, man.
I don't think it's old money. I think it's money that's just sitting here. Like the simple fact that, like,
old money.
How many Pritzkers are actually in Illinois?
Of, like, the 16 billionaires in Illinois, seven of them are Pritzkers.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, I don't even think it's, like, old money. I think it's Pritzker money. And I think the billionaires don't give a shit if the state survives or not, as long as it doesn't hurt their bottom dollar.
Well, it's kind of like...
I mean, I'm just going to put it out there, dude.
Chicago's got big booming businesses, that type of shit. And those businesses aren't chomping at the bit to leave. So they're going to stay here. So it's just milking those guys that are already making money.
Right. But what I'm saying is you look at, like, Rockford, right? At one point in time, Rockford was like a manufacturing city. Like, we were huge. We were large. We were manufacturing a lot of shit here. And all those manufacturers moved out of Rockford because of tax breaks. Right? They couldn't get any here. So they all left. They all fucking left.
I don't know the exact reason why they moved out, but I'm sure taxes are a factor. 100%.
Yeah, it's because they went to re-sign on what they already had, and Illinois tried to increase their taxes. Regardless. They were just like, look, we want to sign another contract. We're very successful here. And Illinois is like, that's cool. Well, let's see. You're paying, like, we'll just throw out some random ass numbers. Like, you're paying 7.9 right now. You want to stay there? Okay, 11.2. And they're just like, what? Like, they're not, we're doing good, but we ain't doing that good.
Javon Bay is another good example of it, and I don't know the specifics of it, but they literally only came to Rockford because Rockford offered them ridiculous tax breaks. Now they're asking for more.
Mm-hmm.
There's some kind of controversy where they're like, I think they want to expand or something like that, and they're asking for more tax breaks. But the only reason they came and created that many jobs and built that shit is because Rockford gave them some fat ass tax breaks, like
that's
millions of dollars.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, dude, if you want, okay, so it's basic business. You know this as a business owner. You have to spend money to make money. All right, like that's just the way it is. You have to spend money to make money. Illinois hasn't figured out exactly how to spend their money to make money. But I'll tell you one thing. Take some of that money that you got, bring us to some fucking businesses, increase the fucking workflow. Then we won't have people on the fucking street, which I'm getting tired of fucking driving by. Bunch of people on the fucking street being like, I ain't got no work. Oh, and I'm going to get started about that because
Fuck them bums.
Dude, I had a thought today. Like, I drive past on fucking Perryville, going to, like, the McChesney store or whatever. I see them always parked up there. There's, like, two of them. You know, they're there. Right? I ain't got no work. Please give me money. Right? And it occurred to me that during the time when most employers would actually be in the workplace, or most people that could give them a job, instead of filling out applications and trying to get a fucking job, they're standing out there holding a fucking sign about how they can't get a job. My favorite part about it is they're standing out there in front of a fucking McDonald's talking about how they can't fucking work. Bitch, it's a McDonald's. Right the fuck there. I'm sorry, man, but I don't know exactly how many skills you have to do to dip some motherfucking fries. But I'm pretty sure that McDonald's will hire anybody, man.
I can easily dismantle any argument that's pretty much defending impoverished people or poor people, like very, very simply.
It's
The answers go something like, well, why don't they live with other people instead of living by themselves? Or, gee, why did they have a kid that they knew that they couldn't afford?
Well, here's a better one. How come it is that they're out there holding a sign saying, help me, I'm homeless, but yet they have a cell phone? Where the fuck did that cell phone come from, dude?
Now,
So let me get this straight. You can't have a house, but you somehow afford a cell phone bill. I don't understand. Am I paying for your cell phone? Is that what's happening? Like, if I give you $10, is that going to your cell phone bill? I'm just trying to figure this out, man. Like, the entire time, like, see, I almost, this is one thing I will say. I actually prefer Trump because of the simple fact that Trump is, like, ridiculously, like, he'll just say random shit. And I'm cool with that. Dude, I'm cool with that. I almost wish, like, the homeless people's fucking signs were, like, honest. Like, help, I need $30 to afford my Verizon bill or some stupid shit.
You know what signs they could be holding instead of I'm homeless, help me?
Trump 2020.
Oh, no. Choice Furniture going out of
Choice
business.
Furniture going
Fuck
out of
yeah,
business.
dude. They've only been going out of business
See,
for like
that's
a
a
year.
money move. You could say, then your sign
I saw that
can
one
say,
coming, dude.
Choice, help me because I work for Choice. And I'm going to be out of work soon.
Yeah, no, they won't. Choice will still be going out of fucking business in 3 years.
Yeah. That's what they could be.
The going out of business is good for business. Hey, man, how upset would you be if I got up and went and used the fucking restroom?
You'd ruin the whole thing.
I would ruin the entire thing. I'm going to do that because I really need to piss.
Okay.
Like, I really need to piss. Is that really going to fuck you guys up?
One piss.
Alright.
I'm going to take 3 while I'm up there.
Round it up.
You know what we should do real quick?
What?
We should come up with...
We've been rolling for over an hour, by the way.
Okay.
So we should wrap it up.
Should come up with questions for our next episode.
For Gabby?
Mm-hmm. She's having a friend come by too. I don't know if the friend's gonna be in it or not. But
You want to do that after this episode?
we can do it right now.
Okay, so she does what? Cosmetology shit?
Cosmetology shit.
Meaning?
Makeup.
Stars?
Making bitches look fake.
So you're the one who fools me at the bars, huh?
She has her own like lipstick line. That's probably like co-packed type thing.
Is she looking for a signature perfume?
She might be. I'm gonna tell her to bring lipstick here when she bring her shit when she comes, and probably have her do us up. You know, make us look pretty.
We're getting a makeover.
I've never worn lipstick.
I don't
curious.
think I have either.
I want to feel pretty.
Except for the lip plumper one, which makes your lips feel like fat.
Yeah.
Just weird. I don't like it.
I've never done that.
Yeah. I think some bitch I used to fuck with back in high school had that shit.
So we could do this whenever, but we should do like some questions relevant to her and her business and all that, but then also just some, you know, like how many marshmallows can you fit in your mouth, you know? And then we can bring out the marshmallows.
So keep it appropriate and not appropriate.
Yeah.
Oh.
Be good to stagger them. A legit question and then just some random shit.
I feel so light.
Yeah.
And airy. Oh. It
Um,
was amazing. That's
So-
like the best experience I've had.
concept for this
Concept for what?
podcast.
Okay.
Kurt and I looked it up, and Kurt probably remembers, but we looked up the longest podcast ever made.
Okay.
It was like 27 hours or something like that.
36.
36
fucking hours.
All right, so it's a day and a half.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we can beat it.
Okay.
So
You're not trying to trick me into fucking being stuck on this fucking... I got shit going on the next couple of days, bud.
Nope. You're booked. Cancel it.
I can't.
I should put you right up till about funeral time.
No, I'm saying you guys are assholes.
But at some point, I think we should attempt it.
I feel like you should. I feel like, look, I love you boys. You know I love you boys. But, and I would, there's this dad part of me that wants to be like, yo, that's very unhealthy. Right? But I know that you guys are going to do it anyways. So the only thing I can do is give you my love and support and be like, yes, you boys should definitely do this.
It is a world record.
Right.
Like, how many times do you get to beat a world record?
Right. Like,
and 36 hours doesn't seem that ridiculous.
No, it's not.
36 hours seems pretty fucking ridiculous. I mean, literally, think about it, man. I just left for, what, like 5 minutes to go take a piss? Right? 5-6 minutes to take a piss. You always got to be sitting here doing some kind of conversation with somebody. So this is all I'm going to say when you try to do this. Have on like 2 guests that are willing to like sit down for that entire time. So that way if one gets up to take a piss, you guys actually have somebody to talk to.
Yeah, I was thinking we could do just like rotating guests. So we can have a dozen guests and then just have them at different times. You know, like you're 4 to 6, you're fucking...
You're 4 to 6. We've got you for the slot. But here's the real question I have. Do you think that you boys would be able to stay up and stay at least somewhat sane after... because I'm guessing, and this is me knowing, well, mainly you, is that like, if the record is 36 hours, right? The record is 36 hours. You're not going to be happy with like, we were on there for 36 and a half hours. You're going to be like, fuck it, we could do 4.
Yeah, we might as well smash it. My answer to that is Adderall.
Adderall.
Which I would definitely be taking.
But that's all I'm saying is like...
abusing.
Right. I was going to say, because like, it's not I'm worried about you falling asleep. It's a matter of me being afraid that I'm never going to get you back.
Also very possible.
Right.
Yeah, once we become world record holders, dude, it's over.
Yeah.
No, dude.
I think we should actually legitimately attempt this.
Okay, I just want to legitimately put it out there.
And make sure that we're going to succeed.
I am going to legitimately put it out there that I feel like in the last couple of years I've lost enough people that I'm close to. And little fuckers aren't going to get to do that anytime soon. So at least don't go insane. That's all I'm saying.
All right, I have a quick story about me being really tired.
Okay.
When we opened the hemp shop, Kurt and I were up for...
the entire night.
Yeah, we worked on the hemp shop the whole day, and then we were up the entire night working on it, and then we went to Exclusive to get some breakfast, and then we came back to the hemp shop because it was opening at like 10 o'clock, and we had to work the entire day again, me and Kurt. And I have never been so tired in my life. Probably, I can't think of another time I was that tired. Well, the construction at Marcos Vapor is close, but I think I was actually more tired for the hemp shop thing. To the point where after we got back from Exclusive, I was laying on the floor behind the displays we had set up, and it was like 2 hours till open. And I couldn't even fucking stand up, and I knew we had to work an entire day and entertain people and like be fucking jovial and do all these sales for the rest of the day. And I was laying there just on the fucking tile floor, couldn't get up, like in and out of sleep. And then for some reason or somehow Kurt like came up to me and was like, Marco, you got to get up. And I was like, no. And he's like, it was like just like that. Like my mom used to wake me up for school, you know, like, no, I don't want to. And he's like, Marco, you have to get up. You need to get up, man. And like somehow his encouraging words got me up. I swear, I was just thriving. I was surviving off of Kurt's words.
Just words like you have to do it.
Kurt's inspirational words.
We
and
need
literally,
my inspirational words of "Come on, man, get up,
get the fuck up." And like literally somehow I got up, like dead ass. I can't even describe how tired I was. And we ended up working the rest of the day.
Which was a doozy.
And literally there were times through that like I don't remember pretty much the entire sales day.
Yeah, I barely remember that shit.
It was just like a dream, like very fucking delirious. Then we kept it together.
You remember the sign salesman guy who came by?
Yes. So then
and
Gary,
I was sitting there listening to him, and I'm like,
so that couldn't even keep our eyes open the entire day. So anytime we've opened a shop, Gary from the sign company has come through. Like within that first week, somehow, like this dude just drives around town and
he's like just knows.
Open. Yeah,
he just knows.
So the Cherryville store, he came. With the McChesney store, within the first week, he came, and then and then the hemp shop, he came that first day that we were open, and then he set up the sign, and he was showing us all the settings, trying to sell us on it. And I remember literally being hypnotized by this shit because it was like an LCD sign that was like, like all the fucking like digital settings he was going through, and I was just like,
he was talking and I was falling asleep.
Yeah, falling asleep / like I was
and you bought
almost
one,
hypnotized.
No, we didn't.
No, I took the one. We had two at MP. I took one from MP. But
you're like, I have bought these signs in the past, but this time he did not get me.
The most delirious I've ever been. I remember like trying to find all the will in myself to like stand up because it was like our new business, and Kurt was counting on me, and like we had our family coming, and all these customers were counting on us and shit like that. Like looking for any shred of will, couldn't find it. But Kurt's words of "get the fuck up" did it for me.
Did it.
Like the rest of the day, had me sailing through.
Dude, I came and saw you on that day.
Yeah.
You seemed...
Don't remember.
You seemed like... No, I just remember getting in there and be like, oh, there's cookies. And then Kurt comes up and he's like, dude, eat some of these gummies. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'll eat some of these gummies.
Yeah.
Yeah, CBD and staying up is a bad mix.
Yeah, he's all like, you should eat these gummies. They're delicious. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to eat these delicious gummies. They were good. Those Vivid gummies were fucking...
So moral of that is, I think if I could get through that, I can get through 36 measly hours of podcast.
Well, what you just talked about
Easy.
wouldn't even be 36 hours. Like you were just like, hey, dude, I was ready to call bitch at like 28 hours. You're like, but no, I feel like I could do this.
I don't know. How long do you think we were up that time?
You said you were up all day and all night, so that would be 24 hours, right?
Well, it
and
depends
then,
like what time we started working on the day before. But let's say it was...
Probably like 1 or 2 the day before.
You think so? I think it was probably a little bit earlier, but fuck if I remember.
So you guys
I
weren't
didn't think
even,
it was
that's what I'm
crazy
saying. You guys probably
So-
were not even up for as long as you think that you were up. Because
It
a day
was
and a
up-
half.
it was over
We were up at
30.
least 30.
Yeah.
Okay,
At
because
least 30.
36 hours is treacherous bullshit.
Don't even
for the
get me
human body.
started on the Miami trip.
Yeah. That was what? That was more than 36 hours.
That was significantly more.
Well into the 40s.
I did like
dude,
like
it
the
was more
picture.
than
I
that.
did like the picture before the fucking plane took off. Like the selfie picture of you guys like on the plane looking like straight ass.
Yeah.
That was like my favorite thing because I was like, dude, just let me know that you guys are gonna be okay. Da 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 da. And you guys were like snapping me fucking pictures. Like the entire trip, you guys always just look like ass. I remember looking at pictures specifically, like Kirk could pull it off, but like you start to look greasy. You know what
By
I mean?
all accounts, we should have just died.
Like Kurt looked tired, and your ass looked like somebody had thrown you in a dumpster. And I was like, yeah, Marco tired.
When we got to Miami Beach and saw the
Marco real
hot
tired right
butt
now.
cheeks coming off of the sand.
Yeah, we were probably at Miami Beach at like 36 hours, and then we saw asses, and that rejuvenated us.
Well,
It wasn't 36.
we were up. I know I was up the entire 2 nights before the trip. So when we got to Miami, I had already not been sleeping for almost 2 days.
Yeah, and then we stayed up an
stayed
entire
See,
but
other
five
day.
in the
here's the
morning.
thing, though.
Till the
When it
wee
comes,
hours.
here, I'm telling you right now, Kurt. It's like when it comes to this super ridiculously long podcast, I'm not really worried about you. I'm
Yeah, I got
worried
it.
about him.
Yeah.
Because
My
like,
last trip to my doctor, he told me I had a mild form of not necrophilia.
Narcolepsy.
Oh, that means you fall asleep like all over the place, right?
Which Slad said he had, which is like, it's like like you just are tired.
You just like fall asleep randomly, basically.
Yeah, I could fall asleep doing anything.
Dude, bringing that up, the other night when we were sitting there talking on the couch, I look at you, I was like, bro, are you going to fall asleep? You're like, nah, I'm just resting. I'm like, oh, you're pulling the old man shit. Like, I'm just resting my eyes. It's like, those bitches is closed. Like, you going to sleep. And this motherfucker was snoring. Before I went to bed, like, I literally sat there, like, watched some videos for like 20 minutes on my phone. And then he started, like, snoring a little bit. And I walked over there, and I, like, put my phone in my pocket, walked over there, shook him. I was like, hey, boo, you should probably go to bed, man. He's like, yeah, maybe in a little bit. And then I went to bed, and I hadn't even turned the light off yet, and I heard him go down the hall and close the door. I was like, yeah, see, there you go. That's a good boy.
My uncle would say, searching my eyelids for pinholes. I'd be doing that.
That's good. That's a fucking good one. I can't.
Yeah. But I know that Kurt and I can do it. Like,
We'll believe.
Doing it sober, that'd be difficult.
That'd be difficult.
But I got just the stimulus. This
I
might be time to start trying that cocaine thing that everyone talks about.
Look, I'm just saying, like, I'm not worried that you guys.
No potty breaks.
Here's the thing. I'm not even going to. There's no way you guys are making it through there because this motherfucker will piss himself.
We'll attach a
or shit himself. Either way, I guess it would be highly entertaining to catch that on camera.
Yeah.
Either way, that'd be great podcast. It'd just be horrible for your guests. Like, here's Marco. He's literally a sewer system, just sitting in a chair.
Give me that bucket. Kurt, pass the bucket.
Like, I don't know. I'm not worried about you guys attempting it, or even worried about you guys succeeding at it, because you guys usually do
it's
what
going
you put
straight to our heads.
You guys usually succeed at what you set out to do. Like, you'll give yourself that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But
if we were determined, we would do it.
But I will say, I am really worried about what your mental state's going to be afterwards.
The mental state afterwards will be sleep.
Lots and lots of sleep.
You're like, we broke a record, now we sleep for the next 3 days.
What would help is having guests come regularly. So, like, every 2 to 3 hours, having, like, a switch up.
I think that you're going to fall asleep in that fucking chair. I think you will literally start.
I could do that right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like,
don't talk.
Bro, I've watched you fall
seconds.
asleep, like, straight up in, like, the most uncomfortable positions where I've literally looked at you and been like, how?
Yeah.
Like, how?
Yeah. After the MV remodel, I fell asleep at the point of sale. Like, I'll never forget that shit. Ringing a customer up, and he took, like, 2 seconds too long to answer a question, and I was out. And then I came to, like, maybe 5 seconds later. Let's finish the sale. Give me the money. Literally.
Give me your money.
Anything else?
He took 2 seconds too long answering your question. I was out.
He did.
That was it. That's what I'm saying. Like, Kurt, when it comes to the sleep issue thing, I know Kurt's going to be able to push through it. I'm not trying to discredit you, boo. I love you. But between the two of you, I would say that Kurt's giving me more reasons to believe he's not human than you.
Yeah, if I was a betting man, I'd put all my money on Kurt.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, Kurt's got this shit. This motherfucker will prepare for it. He'll have mathematics scales and everything to figure out how the algorithm of the sleeping goes. Like, I'm not even worried about it. Kurt will have this thing down. He'll be like, see, right now what I'm doing is I'm taking a second to regenerate my own internal clock. You know what I mean? He'll have it down. He'll have it down, like, scientifically.
As soon as I create the world's best perfume, I'm going to start working on my next project, which is inventing something that displaces my sleep.
I was just going to say, though, you could have a scent that keeps you up, maybe. You're going to have, like, a cheat code to this shit and just be like...
Smelling salts, like...
Yeah. Yeah, you just coat your shirt in smelling salts. Damn, give me a perfume like that, bro. That's an idea. Can you do like a smelling salt cologne? I need it. I need it for my narcolepsy.
Let me start messing with it. I'll see.
I don't know, man.
I mean, look. Here's the thing, man. I support you 100%. 100%. You guys go for it. I support you 100%.
We should do it for 40 hours with the tagline of "Play this episode while you're at work this week."
Yeah.
And then anybody who does that, just you're fucking.
King shit. Like, here's the best part is like,
That's nutty.
you guys do 40 hours and like nobody watches it. Like, it's like you guys get 2 records: the longest running podcast and the least amount of views.
The longest video with the least amount of views.
Yeah. The longest video with the least amount of views.
Right, you know what I mean? Like,
We can
2
do
records
this.
in one. We got this.
Yeah.
We
Post
can do this.
discreetly.
Although we did just find out that I think 10 seconds constitutes a view. I looked it up. 30 seconds?
3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Get the fuck out of here. So somebody clicks on it and they're like,
That looks funny.
But that was for Facebook.
That's a view. That was for
That was for
Facebook.
Yeah. I don't know what YouTube is.
I don't know, man. YouTube is all weird now. You know, I was thinking about like restarting up the channel and doing something different with my shit. And then they've got like all kinds of new like rules and bylaws, and you know, I really hate the commercials. What's up with that?
Well, you don't get commercials. You start making money, so we're good on that.
No,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is
There
like,
will never be any commercial.
As long
we're
as
running
you don't-
40 hours commercial
As long
free.
as you don't watch, we can promise you that.
Yeah. Don't tell your friends. Don't subscribe. Don't do nothing.
No, I'm just saying that like well, here's the thing too, is like my channel was pretty much set up for like vape reviews and shit, but I don't think there's really anything out there anymore for me to like review. Cause like, dude, I do a lot of like ordering vape shit and researching vape shit, and all the vape shit that we have now, it's all the same shit, just in a different box. Like there's really no innovations. I mean, that's the reason why I picked up, actually, this is as sad as it is. The reason why I picked up this tank that I'm vaping on currently is because it's the most innovative thing I've seen in like fucking forever coming out of anywhere. Because you literally take this top off and the coil pops up, and you can literally just throw the coil in there. All your juice stays in the tank. You drop another coil in there, you push that thing back down, and you go right back to vaping. It's like, wow, that only took them fucking 5 years to come up with that shit.
Maximal laziness.
But the simple fact of the matter is,
I literally saw the way that it was done, and I was like, I have to have this tank. It's innovative as fuck.
Dude.
Like, I have to have it. Everything has been running on the same basis.
It ain't no Fury tank though.
Ain't no
No.
fucking Fury, bro.
Now, you want to know what my favorite part was
Never
about the
will
Fury
be.
tank is the Fury tank was actually okay as long as you use an Atlantis coil. Like, use any other coil besides their own, and this tank is actually not that bad.
Yeah. You know what we should do instead of going to the bathroom for this longest in the world podcast? We should just piss in the palms
Nah,
as we do.
bro, I know a couple of RNs. They could probably give you guys fucking catheters.
Damn.
You guys
Oh,
can
I
get your
have
own
catheters.
pissing bags.
I've got a catheter story. My Uncle Joe, who has passed away, he had a catheter. And he was like the toughest guy you'll ever meet. And like, apparently the way catheters work is they put this shit in your dick and then they inflate
Inflate it.
Yeah, and they inflate it. And then like before you take it out, you're supposed to deflate it, right? Well, he was tired of the shit. Ripped it out. Fully
Oh,
inflated.
no.
Blood everywhere. Piss and blood.
He ripped it out.
Ripped it out. He was just tired of it.
I've had enough.
Yeah.
I've had enough.
So can you get a boner with a catheter?
I don't. No, that's a weird.
You had a catheter, didn't you?
I did have a catheter. I
Did you have
did.
any boners?
I did. I no.
What were your
I had
erections
none.
looking like?
But to be fair, man, like we're gonna go over that.
Can you
like,
jack off? In
so
the
I
hospital?
woke up and I had a catheter. Right. I woke up and I had a catheter. For the first 3 days after I was awake, I was still trying to figure out where the fuck I was at. All right, because they had me on fentanyl. And little does anybody know, but like fentanyl really like makes your brain not function correctly. I remember
someone knows.
This is the reason why. Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure there's probably a whole lot
I'm not
of.
gonna name names, but I know someone who knows.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I did a number on my cousin's dome. I'll tell you that.
But like, I remember this is the thing. Okay, so like, I always give people a bunch of shit because somebody came into my room. I don't know who in the fuck it was that put the first 48 on my fucking TV in my hospital room, dude. They're rat bastards. All right, because like, here I am waking up with fucking fentanyl. Like, everything is like so fucking surreal. Dude, at one point in time, the nurse that was checking in on me, just checking my vitals and shit, I thought that motherfucker was a scientist that was doing experiments on me, and I couldn't move and I couldn't talk. And I was like, oh, I'm going to die. I'm going to fucking die. This guy is evil as fuck. Right? So,
Evil scientist.
you know what I mean? I'm like, this motherfucker is just like fucking testing on me or some shit. Like, I was like laying there like all fucked up. Right? But somebody put on the first 48 hours, and the reason why that bothers me too, I can't watch that shit. Like, ever. Again, because my brain was like starting to like come back. Right? But as it was coming back, it was like registering things as like, this is shit that's really happening to you. This is shit that's, and all I had in my face was the first 48, which if you don't know what that show is, it's like people being murdered and people trying to figure out where this murder came from in 48 hours. It was like a fucking marathon. It was on my TV constantly for like 2 fucking days, dude. Like, and every time I woke up, it was like, this person got killed. And I would watch like a whole fucking program. And for some reason, I felt like this shit was really happening to me. You know what I mean? I'm like, they're looking for me. Like, I can't watch that show, man. It like fucking melted my brain a little bit. Like, fentanyl's some shit, man.
I thought fentanyl was what they were putting in heroin that killed people.
Yes, when it's mixed into an intravenous thing, but fentanyl, what its actual use is for medically induced comas and shit. It keeps you asleep. They have to like, I don't know, straight measurement to keep you under, but not too far under. And then, you know what I mean?
So you
bring
just
you back
did less than the killing dose.
Right. Just to keep me like under. But that's the reason why, like, dude, when I woke up from the coma, like I woke up from the coma, I was awake from the coma for like maybe an hour and 10 minutes, and then I had a stroke. Because like my brain just didn't understand that shit like at all. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, my whole world, because like, dude, like, I hate it when people are like, oh, you were in a coma? What was that like? And it's like I closed my eyes and then I opened them up and somebody was like, you've been sick for a really long time. Because that's literally what it was. Dude, I remember walking into the hospital. I remember a guy coming in and asking me if I was in pain. I said, yes, I'm a little discomforted. He said, I'm going to give you a shot of morphine. And I was like, all right. And then I remember waking up. And I remember my mom being like, you've been sick for a really long time. And then shortly after that, I had a stroke. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot of shit. People are like, oh, you didn't see anything when you coma? I was like, it's in a coma, man. I didn't see shit, man. I don't remember my dreams. It doesn't matter if I don't remember my dreams from what I dreamt last night or what I was down for a fucking month. I don't fucking remember them. All right? Nothing. Like, nothing.
Yeah, do you think you don't remember the coma because you normally don't remember your dreams?
I'm wondering, man, because see, that's one thing that's been bothering me. So, Wednesday night, this last Wednesday night or whatever, after I found out that my father had passed and I saw his body, right? I came back here and I was talking to you and you guys could tell that I was fucking upset and I was like, fuck this, I'm going to bed. I went to sleep and I didn't sleep very well because like I would wake up like crying, and it's not like, oh, I woke up and I started crying. No, like I woke up because I was crying, right? So I was crying in my sleep. Like I'm asleep and I'm crying. But I don't remember what the fuck I dreamt that got me there. So then there's the big question of like, why in the fuck am I crying? Because I don't remember what got me there. It's not like I was like, oh man, I had this really deep emotional dream. I don't remember, dude. Like I don't remember my dreams like at all. Like almost ever, dude. It's like such a fucking trip. Like I love it because I have no stories. People are like, man, I had this really fucked up dream last night. It was like this. And it's like, man, you're never going to hear that conversation come from me ever. It'll be like, man, I had this really fucked up dream last night, but I don't remember it. You know what I mean? Like, that would be like the shortest story ever for my dream. Like, did I have this really super fucked up dream last night, but I couldn't tell you anything about it because I don't really remember it. Whoa, dude, totally blew my mind. And like,
some of the ones I remember fuck me up, dude.
See, that's what I'm saying, though. You can remember that.
I wonder what it is about, like, okay, so, like, that has to come down to, because it's not like when I sleep, I don't get restful sleep majority of the time. Like, I sleep like a fucking baby, and I can go to sleep. Like, I just make up my mind.
Dreams don't occur during that restful sleep. They occur in your, like, REM sleep, which is kind of between, like, when you first fall asleep and when you
So is it that I don't have REM? Is that what it is?
That might be it.
You ain't got no REM, boy.
Ain't got no REM.
And REM stands for rapid eye motion, so your
Yeah.
eyes have to do the weird flickery thing.
I'm gonna watch your eyes tonight.
If you see somebody's
See what's
eyes
going
doing
on.
that, they're probably dreaming.
You're going to come in and stare at me while I'm sleeping?
I noticed.
What's going on with his eyes?
What's going on with this?
You ever wake up? I guess obviously you don't, Chris, but you ever wake up and then you're kind of in that, like, you're awake and you can totally, like, move around, like, I'll check my phone or some shit, but I'm not really awake. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then you go back to sleep for like an hour.
Yeah.
That's when I get the most dreams.
Yeah, see, it's weird, man, because I don't ever go through that. Like, my shit goes off, like, my alarm goes off or whatever, and, like, when my alarm goes off, I literally will, like, hit the fucking snooze button on that bitch, and then it'll go off, like, 10 minutes later, and then I turn it off, and I just sit there and stare at my phone like it's my like, arch nemesis for, like, the next, like, 20 minutes. Like, I hate you. Why'd you have to make so much fucking noise? Like, even though I'm the one that said it, I'm all like, you're a bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
You're really hating yourself.
yeah, I'm like, well, self-hatred, you know what I mean? But, like, I can also fall asleep at any point in time, too. If, like, I decide that, like, that's it, I'm going to bed. Like, I'll just lay the fuck down and go to sleep, man. Like, I don't even have to be tired. Just do it. That's the reason why Lynn will call me Koala Boy. Because, like, I'll just go to sleep. Like, she hates me for it, dude. Hates me for it. Like, I was like, we'll go to bed. And I'm like, okay, we're going to bed. And I'll lay down and I'll just go to sleep. And then she's like, she'll, like, literally, like, wake me up and she'll be like, are you sleeping? And it's like, motherfucker, I snore. So I'm pretty sure you figured out that I was sleeping, right? Like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but, like, you knew I was already doing it. You didn't have to elbow the fuck out of me to find out if I was sleeping. Like, I make noise. But I don't remember any fucking dreams, and I can fall asleep whenever. Like, I just decide that that's the thing that I
You never
want to do
get
now.
woken up from a dream?
No, actually.
What?
Okay, so there was. I had just talked to Jeff, like, last Saturday. My buddy Jeff, who lives in Vegas. And we were talking about that. And the only time I ever remember having a dream that I remembered was when I was doing the nicotine patches. And they were like, don't fall asleep with the patch on. Dude, Jeff was like, dude, I remember that. You were kind of like an addict about going to sleep with the fucking patch on. Because, like, there was, like, 2 days where I went to sleep with that fucking patch on, dude. And I had, like, the most, like, elaborate dreams that I could still tell you about today. You know what I mean? But, like,
That shit's amazing.
and everybody's like, oh, no, sleep with the patch on. It's like, dude, it's the only way I remember my fucking dreams, like, at all. But I will tell you this. There's one crazy thing about falling asleep with the patch on, man. Those dreams do feel real.
Fuck
Like,
yeah.
they feel real as fuck, dude. Like, I remember, I always put it to the Matrix terms. Like, when I woke up, it was almost like Morpheus was there. It was like, welcome to the real world. It's like, no, put me back. Put me fucking back. Because, like, in my dreams, I was, like, rich as fuck and shit. And then I wake up and it's like, oh, you got to go make pizzas at the fucking, at the goddamn, you got to go make pizzas at the fucking Oasis in Belvedere. It's like, I want to go back to sleep. You know what I mean? Like,
But yeah, man, like, I don't know.
my
I'll take
daughter,
a nightmare over no dream, though.
my daughter actually looked into it, though. If I can just fall asleep and it doesn't take me any time, and I don't remember my dreams, it means that, like, my subconscious is at peace with itself, is what she's saying that it is. Like, I guess I don't, And I guess this comes down to me doing that whole like being true with my fucking self, like all the fucking time. Like I always tell people, it doesn't matter. You see me at work, see me on the fucking street. I'm the same person. Like I'm always the same fucking person. Like I'm always me. And she says that means that my subconscious is at peace with itself. Because I don't feel like I need to work through any issues. Because I don't have any issues. Because I don't create any issues. I just fucking deal with them as they come. You know what I mean? Somebody has a problem. Like I'm that guy that if somebody comes up to me and says, blah, 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 says they don't fucking like you. I'm like, okay, I don't sit there and go, I wonder why they don't like me. I just walk over to someone and be like, so I hear you don't like me. Why don't you like me? You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get to the fucking root of this shit. Like, there's a problem. I'm going to solve that shit. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to move on with my fucking life. You don't like me. It's not a make or break. I would like to find out what it is, though, because I'm always up for some fucking criticism to find out if there's something I can do fucking better. Like, I tell people that shit all the time when I'm at work. Like, if you don't like something I'm doing, just tell me. You know what I mean? Don't talk behind my back and tell other fucking people that you don't like that shit. Tell me, because I know I might seem like I'm an incredibly aggressive fucking individual, which I am. I'm not going to say that I'm not. Like, you guys laughed your asses off when I was like, I'm not an intense person all the time. And you guys fucking geeked the fuck out years ago. Oh, yeah. But, like, if there's something that has to do with me, I'm down to, like, self-grow and learn from what my mistakes are. Like, I'm humble enough to do that shit. So, like, if you have a problem with something that I'm doing, you tell me about it, and I'll look at it and see if it's something that I feel like needs to be fucking changed about myself, or if you're just being a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, I guess that's not the right word. Being a bitch. Being a soft bitch. Like, if you think that I'm the person that's going to worry about your feelings, I'm not, because your feelings, they don't make or break my life. You know what I mean? Like, I say that shit to people, and I know it sounds cold. Dude, I get it. Like, I get that sounds cold as fuck, but, I mean, that's literally how the world should be, right? Like, what do feelings do for you? Like, every person has them, but people want you to care about it. See, the one thing I don't like about that is the backwards compatibility on that. Like, justify my feelings, but it's like, well, justify my feelings say that I should hurt yours. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not worried about my feelings, you're worried about your feelings, but now I gotta worry about my feelings because of your feelings. This could go back and forth all day long. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I need to hurt your feelings. That's how I feel. And you're like, don't hurt my feelings because I have them. It's like, cool, you're a human being, got it. You feel things. Okay, cool. Tell me how that's going to make my life better. You feeling what you feel right now, is that progressively moving you forward, or are you standstilling and trying to fucking hold me here because you feel something? I don't, you know what I mean? Like, feelings are overrated as fuck.
Yeah, they are. Just do drugs like a normal person.
Yeah. Listen to what Kurt said. Do drugs, kids.
Grow up. Get over yourself. Take some substances. Move on.
All right, let's wrap it up.
No.
Knox, I'd like you to crush those cans.
Crush up. Crush up.
So I'm going to go step on this, right? And the top can will start to crush. The middle can will shoot out from the bottom.
Better not, bro.
It's going to happen.
If you come down straight, it won't.
I'm not going to come down.
How straight are you?
Pretty straight.
Let's see how gay that come down is.
That shit was gay as fuck.
Yep.
Awful.
Terrible. Gay as fuck.
All right. Anything else you want to squeeze in?
No, man. I mean, you know, I've always had a fucking blast just sitting here talking to you guys. I mean, the saddest part is you guys are going to turn off the camera. We're probably going to end up sitting here for like another hour while I drink a couple more beers, and then just sit here and talk about the same shit that we've been talking about. Like, I don't give a fly fuck.
Correct. More conversation off camera.
Off camera.
Absolutely.
They're going to miss out on it, and I don't really care. Because that would be their feelings, and I don't give a shit.
Until next time, when Knox doesn't care about your feelings again.
Some more.
Ever.
That's right. Oh, I gotta pee.
Oh, now I know why it's really a wrap. Marco was like, oh, I don't want to get up in the middle of shit like Knox did and go take a piss.
Actually, closer to.
The Sham Show.
Welcome to the Sham Show.